It's going to be a hell of a game. We're starting the playoffs a week early. You know, it's what it comes down to, so to speak. You know, it's football. It's the Vikings. It's an extra playoff game. I mean, as stressed out as we're going to be. Come on. Isn't it beautiful?
Yeah,
I mean, it's fucking great, dude.
Here and dead, and we're going into week 17. Yay! It's a must-win situation for our beloved Minnesota Vikings, with the Chicago Bears coming to town. Yes, I know that they can technically lose and have have Philadelphia lose and back into the playoffs, but who the heck wants that? Let's go for a win. Ted, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Christmas.
I had a good Christmas. A lot of people here. We ate tons of stuff. I was spoiled and can't ask for more. I tried to spoil Salem to no end, and she was. Oh, man, was she spoiled. How was your Christmas?
It's good. I got a great present. I wish Drew was here to see it. It's me. I think he'd really like it, but
I think he would too. He'd be jealous and start crying, probably. Whimpering in his seat.
Yeah.
Hey, Drew, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you? It's playoff week.
It's playoff week. How was your Christmas?
It was great. Great. Had a very good Christmas. Kind of quiet, but that's the kind of Christmas you have when you don't have kids in the house anymore.
Hey, we got some feedback on our Christmas show, by the way.
Did we really?
Yeah, we did.
Good or bad?
Oh, it was pretty good. They're talking about especially me being on too much on the Kool-Aid, and it's probably spiked. And I said, oh, yeah, it is.
Get this. I started the playback of the show. I didn't get to watch it till like 8 o'clock last night, right? And right as I click it on, my volume is like really loud in the living room. You came on with good morning, and then you started talking, and Ruby just started busting up. She goes, I love that guy. He's my favorite host ever. She loved it, dude. She laughs more during the show when you're talking more than any other part of the show. She loves it.
I was happy. I was gone.
Well, you know what? That puts everybody in a good mood right off the bat. And I think it's great. I enjoyed that show. I thought it was a good show. You did good.
Oh, I enjoyed doing it too. And I enjoyed the beer up until that point. But I want more winning. More winning. Let's run it all the way into February. I like drinking every Sunday. I don't drink during the week, but
you know what?
Every Sunday.
If you're getting drunk in February and we're recording, I'm a happy guy. Huh, Princess? We'll go with that, huh?
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
But, so yeah, it's a big game. I'm kind of on the fence about this one. I think the Vikings should play well because they're at home, but then they ended up playing a very good 35 minutes of football against Detroit. They played a good game against Miami at home. They started out very strong. I'll tell you what, if they can put the beginning of the Miami game and like about 5 minutes left in the second quarter to the Detroit game together, I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, I do too.
It's just, yeah. But that's just kind of the way the Vikings have been all season, though, hasn't it? It just sort of depends on which Vikings team shows up.
Right. And we've talked about it all year about it seems to be sleepwalking, and it takes a while for them to get going. Whether even on the defense, they may bend at the very first drive, right? And the offense takes a while to get functioning. But it's frustrating. I know that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And I wish it wasn't, but hey, somebody wrote on Daily Norseman, no less, that I want to say on 2 shows ago when I, was laughingly say we're going to score a 50 burger. They said, you guys couldn't do that. And on this last show, they said, boy, that purple Kool-Aid must be spiked. And I replied, oh, yeah, it's the only way to be a Vikings fan for as many decades as I've been.
Yeah.
It's how we tolerate it.
Yeah.
You know, it's how we get through it.
Yeah. I mean, and just going back, you talk all these decades. On paper, this team is as good as some of those teams that go back 35, 40, 50 years.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
But for whatever reason, they haven't put it together. I mean, should they win? I mean, I would hope so.
Well, they're favored. They opened up. Well, they originally opened up at 6.5 points. I think Vegas had them at 5.
That's
favorites at home. And then to me, I'm asking, well, why? You know,
I don't know.
Trubisky's come down to earth. What? You know, what is the?
I think maybe I don't gamble, so I don't know. But maybe they think the Vikings have a lot to play for, and the Bears probably are locked into the 3 seed, barring epic Rams collapse against, I think, San Francisco. I think who they play.
San Francisco, who is playing decent.
Yeah, they're not bad. I mean, or they've been playing better. But see, the thing is, you know, we talk about the Vikings not being able to play well in the moment this year, which is probably the most frustrating thing about this team, because throughout Mike Zimmer's tenure, he's slowly but surely checked off those things, for lack of a better word, that the Vikings had become known for. Not being able to win on the road, not being able to win on the road outside on grass, not being able to win Chicago, not being able to win a big game. And they did all that, especially, and last year they sort of did all of that, and they went on that. They had that really good second, put together 2 really good halves of football in the first half of the year and the second half of the year, and they pretty much wiped all that stuff out, playing with essentially their 3rd string quarterback and their 2nd string running back. And now this year we're kind of back to those same old things, and it's just frustrating. It's been frustrating to watch all year.
Well, we do know that Kevin Stefanski tutored under Pat Shurmur. And the Bears had a hard time against the Giants this year. The Giants found ways to run. I think they ran 180 yards or something like that during that day. But they found ways to defeat that defensive line that is just, without a doubt, the Chicago Bears Fangio defense is very, very, very good.
It is, yeah.
But they didn't run straight at Akeem Hicks, right? And they didn't run at Mack. They ran plays to double those guys and seal them inside, and they ran around the outside, and they got their running backs open in space, and it made sense, and they were successful. I think we could do the same thing. They also had success with their tight ends on how they blocked and schemed those against those very good linebackers. And all Stefanski has to do is, look at that tape, look at what he's learned from Shurmur, and I think he can devise a game plan to neutralize a lot of that. He's not going to neutralize all of it. They're too good. But he can neutralize a lot of it. And, hey, as a purple Kool-Aid drinker that is obviously spiked, I hope that's the case. They can do it. I want to see them do it. They should do it. Now, if they don't, hey, then we're going straight into the draft because there's no reason to talk on other issues. And I don't want to see them backing into the playoffs.
Well, I'd rather them back into the playoffs and not make the playoffs. So,
well, yeah, I got that.
But, I get your point. And the thing with the Bears, if the Vikings don't turn the ball over 3 times, to include a pick 6,
we would win.
I think the Vikings very well could have won that game. Mitchell Trubisky did not have a great game against the Vikings other than his ability to get out of the pocket and make plays with the legs. And I said going into that game, that was going to be something the Vikings needed to stop. Put a spy on him or whatever.
Well, Mike Zimmer was asked just about that today in his press conference about what did you learn anything from Mitch Trubisky from the last meeting? And he says, yeah, I didn't expect him to be that fast and be able to run that well. He says, we're going to have to stick extra eyes watching him.
I don't know how he could not have thought that going into their first game. Honestly,
I don't know. I mean, you think that's what they do? They scout, they watch film, you know. I mean
it's what he's done all year.
Mm-hmm. So,
I don't know. Yeah, I think they can win. You're right. I think the Vikings can make money on the perimeter. You know, they're a very good trap and zone blocking team. You know, their offensive linemen are smaller, so the running game has been better since they sort of have seemingly gone back to that type of running attack, especially getting Dalvin Cook like a little bit more outside off tackle and then on the ends. If they can do that and maybe run away from the side Khalil Mack lines up on, yeah, they've got a chance to control the clock and score some points and win and get into the playoffs and you know, get above 500. And yeah, no, they are above 500, right? They're 8. No, they're what are they?
What are
7-1, right? Yeah, they're 7-7-1. Win gets them to 8-7-1, doesn't it?
No, they're 8-7 and they're 8-7-1 now. No, 8-6-1.
8-6-1, yeah.
14-15, yeah.
Yeah.
8-6-1.
Okay. So yeah.
So they're gonna be, even if they lose, they're gonna be above 500.
Yeah, I just, you know, and then for the Bears, you're playing potentially for the second seed. Hopefully, you know, hopefully the Rams are blowing out San Francisco like 35-0 at half, and the Bears are like, yeah, let's just rest everybody and get ready for the Vikings next week. I don't know. We'll see.
Did you see what Nagy just said?
No, what did Nagy just say?
Nagy just came out publicly and said, we are going to – it's like a fucking – get this, Dave. It's like a built-in excuse for getting his ass whipped. I kind of liked what he's saying. He said, of course we're going to be scoreboard watching, and if the Rams have a huge lead, don't be surprised if we make changes. I find it really surprising that he would – I could see him saying that behind closed doors. I found it very surprising that he would go public and say that.
That is unusual.
What you usually do in that situation is say, we're going to play hard, we're going to play to win the game, and then you end it right there. You don't add anything else into it. I mean,
no, I agree. That's very stupid coach speak.
If
you're not locked one way or the other, that's stupid coach speak.
You know, I find really kind of sucks is the Rams got the Niners, the Eagles got the Redskins, and Seattle's got the Cardinals. I mean, come on. Could you find any 3 worse teams for the people we need to lose?
Well, San Francisco's playing decent.
They're not going to.
Washington's played decent. Now they're on their third string quarterback, but they won. Didn't they win last week? With it?
No, they lost, and then the
week before they won with them.
Here's the deal with Washington. Last week they were still alive. They were playing that Saturday game, and I watched that game very closely. They played their hearts out. They played so well on defense. They were swarming to the football. They played with all their heart, and it's almost like when they lost, so went their playoff chances, and so went their spirit. They are going to get rolled by 30 this week against Philadelphia. Watch, they're done.
You could be right. It could be, hey, when's my tea time down in Florida, boys? You know,
I liken it to that great story when George Foreman fought Muhammad Ali in Zaire. Did you hear? You remember that fight?
I remember the fight. Yeah.
He got Foreman in the corner and he unloaded about 13 punches on him in a row. He said when he was talking about it, he said, I just went for it. I unleashed everything I had and threw everything I had at him. And I hit him right in the face and I hit him square in the stomach and I hit him and I hit him and I hit him. And I was completely drained. And Muhammad Ali leaned into me and he said, is that all you got, George? And George says, you know, Muhammad, that's it. That's all I got. And about 8 seconds later, he knocked him out.
Damn.
But that was the Redskins last Saturday. We gave it all they got. And then when they lost, I'm not expecting much. I mean, I think that game's going to be over by halftime.
Well, yeah, we'll see.
I mean, because look, seriously, if I'm the Bears right now, if I have my pick of players, and I'm not saying this to see the Vikings in the playoffs, this is not really a compliment. But if I'm the Bears, I'd much rather play the Vikings than rather play Philadelphia, because Philadelphia looks like they found their mojo. And if they get in, if Philadelphia gets in, I think they can go on a serious run.
Well, they got Nick Foles peaking again at the right
Dude
time.
Dude is a December magician, man.
It's just like, damn. So, hey, I agree with you. That's what I would do. If I was them, I'd rather play the Vikings.
Somebody asked me yesterday, what's a better spot to be in right now, the Bears or the Vikings? And I think it's the Vikings for this specific game because the Bears are already in. Right. The Bears are in the playoffs, and I think that's a disadvantage when you're playing a team that has to win to get in.
Right.
And in combination being at home. I think I would feel a lot worse if this game was on the road, but the fact that we're at home, we need it more than they do. Really feel
what Vegas is seeing.
You know what? That may be right because 5 is extremely high right now for this game. I would expect it to be at 2 or 1. When I saw 5 this morning, I was maybe that is what their thought process is that the Vikings needed a lot more than and they do. The Chicago's in the tourney. They're in it no matter what, whether they win or lose. So I really feel we have that on our side going into this game.
All I want to do is see the Vikings win. I want to see them win well. I want to see a very well called offensive game plan, and I want to see the defense do what the defense does. If they can shut down Chicago to under 17 points, our favorite Mendoza line, as we call it, in scoring, and then the offense turns around and scores 21, we win. And I suspect the game is going to be something real close to that. I don't expect a lot of scoring.
Yeah, I don't think it will be either. I mean, both defenses are really, really good. I think both quarterbacks can get off their game once they feel pressure. I will say, if the Vikings can protect Kirk Cousins, which I didn't think they did a very good job of in Chicago, and since like week 8, I think it was, I saw a tweet today from somewhere on Twitter. Said, the Vikings are one of the, since week 8, second half of the season, they've offered or given up. They're like 3rd, 4th, or 5th in the NFL in fewest pressures given up. So
yeah, last week it was minimal. It's like 1.
Yeah.
Or something like that. No, it wasn't that because we had 2, I won't say 2 sacks, but it was minimal. And O'Neal is yet to give up a sack, knock on wood. And they are getting better. They are literally, the offensive line is getting better. And especially in the last 2 games. And we're getting a better running production, even though last week it took to the second half or, just into the second quarter and on all the second half to get. But
yeah. Another
thing Zimmer was saying this morning was when asked about the last game, he goes, you can't win a game running only 14 times a game. Got to run more.
Yeah, and they've been doing a very good job of it. I thought Dalvin Cook, especially in the second half, ran very well. And it felt like, for whatever reason, what they were doing in the first half wasn't working at all. I mean, nothing was working. They couldn't even, at least even if
they averaged a yard a drive.
Yeah, first 5 yards. Even if your offense is struggling, you can still pick up 3, 4 first downs here and there. They couldn't do it. They couldn't do anything right. And if they start out like that, I think I mentioned this in the Raw show, that if they start out that slow, they'll have a tough time winning that football game.
But they've gotten to the point posted the week before and the week after where they're ending up with 2nd and 3rd and short.
Yeah,
a lot of times, and that means we are getting production. I think the yardage last week was like 6.6 yards per carry or something like that. I don't know. This is where we need Drew there for the numbers portion of it.
All right. I don't have any numbers. I didn't do that.
When you end up with 2nd and short, you usually end up with 3rd and short if you don't convert. And then 3rd and short, if all else fails, sneak, right? And the sneaks work every time it's tried.
Yeah, just about. And that's just it. Having manageable down and distance is going to be really critical against the Bears, because if you get into 2nd and long, 3rd and long, you're down or 10 points, the Bears are just going to come at you and they're going to tee off, and you're going to be really behind the power curve for pretty much the whole game.
Right. Now, I read an article where I think it was from Collar, but I wasn't Matthew Collar, not sure though, where they're talking about they should line up Kirk Cousins under center more often this time because he tends to have slightly better passing statistics under center than he does back in the shotgun, even though that's counterintuitive. You think back in the shotgun, you got more time and you can see, but he does better. But one of the things that is causing them to do that, especially since Stefanski took over, is they're running more play action passes and bootlegs. And that rotates that pocket, which maximizes the protection because you're not sitting there taking somebody like Akeem Hicks who can just bowl you over, right? Last time we played, he just ran through Rimmers like he was, it was Macy's on Black Friday. He just went right through. But if you start moving people and then doing the trap blocking and zone blocking, that will slow that rush down. It also sucks up the linebackers, which means you can get Rudolph behind or Conklin behind and take advantages of those. And then if you have safeties coming down for that, that means either Diggs or Thielen is left one-on-one. And
yeah, we should, yeah.
And if Cousins can read that properly, there should be no stopping it.
Should be no stopping it against the Bears. All right, buddy. All right, buddy.
I got you. I'm just saying, in theory, theory of the whole thing.
The offense is there. The talent is definitely there to beat the Chicago Bears. It definitely is. I think it helps. Like I said, I think if they don't turn the ball over 3 times against the Bears in Chicago, they win that game.
The more I play it over and look at the numbers and look at the tendencies of both teams, I think it's a turnover game, and I think it's a game that comes down to the kicking, to be honest.
Okay.
But I think the turnovers
not make them.
Whoever wins the turnover battle.
Okay.
I actually think if we're going to do a spicy take.
Spicy.
I actually called out earlier today when I was talking to somebody else who asked me this question about how the game's going to play out. I'm calling for 3 turnovers this week. I think we're going to get 3 turnovers. And I think that helps us.
Our plus side?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, I think we're going to get 3 turnovers. Now, whether we give those back, I don't know. But I think we're due for a 3 turnover game. I don't know, 2 picks and a fumble, 3 fumbles. I don't know the combination, but I'm looking at that to be the difference in the game.
That is a spicy hot take. And
Bailey to win it, David.
Bailey to win it. Another one.
I haven't got the yardage.
But he's perfect. We've got the one perfect game so far.
Hey, I got 2. I got the yardage and the time. 3 seconds left. 52-yarder. Write that on your whiteboard. Write it down right now. 52-yarder. 3 seconds left to send us to the playoffs.
To go to the playoffs.
Yeah. It's going to be a tight.
Both Ted and I were talking. It's going to be like a 3 or 4 point game, and that should be about it.
I got my over-under right now at 35. Wait, what was my final? 19? Yeah, 35.
Well, that is a heck of a spicy take. Scott Backstrom, who does our spices with Tailgate Master, would love to see that. You know why? Because that means Vikings are playing for an additional week.
I am.
And when the Vikings play an additional week, that means we get to tailgate some more, even if the game's not here. And I get to drink. Yes.
You tell that guy I put that spicy stuff. I'm addicted to those spices he sent. Those things are tremendous. I put it on my orange juice, everything. Hey, we got 5 weeks left.
5 weeks. Yeah.
So we're going to end the season with a 7-game winning streak and a big silver-ass trophy.
Yes, baby. Oh.
So, yeah, we'll see. I would just like to see him put together a complete game and win this game, get in the playoffs on a little bit of a roll with what would have been a 3-game winning streak with the Dolphins and then the Lions and then the Bears and then, go back to Chicago next week, more than likely, or down to Dallas if Seattle completely drops the ball against the Cardinals. I can see this team making some noise in the playoffs if they can just be a little bit more consistent. That's all I think anybody is asking for is consistency and just not consistently bad, which offense kind of has been sometimes.
Right. And it drops into that making stupid decision moments and hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully Cousins won't have that turnover.
I just, this is another time where Cousins can shut everybody up.
To wrap this up, Ted, have you got anything you'd like to say? What's your feeling going into today's game or Sunday's game?
Like I said, I'm not sure. Like right now, I'm really on the fence. I'd like to think the Vikings win. I want them to win. Don't get me wrong. I want them to win, but I don't know. What are you feeling towards this game?
I'm thinking they're going to pull it off.
Do you?
Yeah.
Like right now, I'm literally 50-50. I don't know. Come Sunday, I'll be like, oh, Vikings are going to win 50-10. This is how I always talk myself into it. But usually, I've got a pretty solid feeling towards a game by Monday or Tuesday. Either way, in my mind, I'll think, yeah, they've got no chance, or they're going to win. I don't know. That spread that Vegas gave, I thought was weird. That because it started out 6.5 point spread. I thought that was weird. And that how can that be? There's no way 6.5 point spread. I think.
Is it because Trubisky's coming back down the ground?
No, I don't know.
He's not that good.
I think Vegas thinks the Vikings are going to get up for this game and just come beat the brakes off the Bears. And these guys haven't watched the Vikings playing a big game this year, which is what bothers me.
It's at home.
It is,
and they play better at home than they do on the road.
They got beat by Buffalo 27-6 at home.
At home, yes, and it's going to take crowd getting into it because the crowd does help.
See, I think that's a big thing. I think that 325 start is going to mean U.S. Bank Stadium is going to have a collective blood alcohol content of about 0.45. And if the Vikings can capitalize on that early energy and emotion that U.S. Bank Stadium brings, and when U.S. Bank Stadium, when the crowd is that place is just electric. It is so much fun to be in. I was there for the Monday night game against the Giants back in 2016, and it was just awesome. But like from the Skol chant all the way to the fourth quarter, the final gun, the crowd was just into it. It was so much fun. And if that crowd can show up, I think the Vikings will be okay. But if the Bears take the Vikings crowd out of it and the Vikings sort of get this, here we go again, it's going to be a long afternoon, and that's why I'm on the fence. I can't decide. I don't know. 23-20 Vikings. There we go. Done.
I think it's going to be close. But what we got to get is the Vikings fans, if you want more weekends of drinking, which I do, I'm all for it. Be loud. Drive that team. Easiest way possible.
I mean, I'm glad we're still playing for something. And I thought about that, and I thought about it 2 nights ago. I'm thinking if we were 3-12, sure, we'd have a Viking game coming up, but this is in or not, do or die, man. This is exciting stuff. This is what football is. This is what football is all about, and we're going to see if we can get it done. I don't like the fact that we pushed the game back on the starting time. I'm telling you. Hey, David, my 10 a.m. rules work. I tell you, we play better during that.
Speaking of your rules, Fox favorite broadcast team is broadcasting it. And what is your rule for that?
It's not allowed in this house. Those guys are not allowed in this house.
Volume to 0, baby.
Oh yeah,
hit
volume
that
to
mute
0.
button.
That's right. You know what? Now, even when the Vikings aren't on, me and my wife say, "I'm not listening to Buck." He's not even allowed. So it used to be for Viking games, no way. But other games, whatever. It doesn't matter. We'll listen to it. Now he's not even allowed during those games. So he's been completely banned from the Bunting compound.
Gotcha.
Which is fine. I mean, but
wrapping this puppy up.
Yep.
Anyways, last words.
Skol Vikes. Let's go to the playoffs, man.
Outstanding.
Do this again next week, Chicago.
All right.
I say meow meow, Viking cow. What do you say, Princess?
Skol, everybody.
Look.
Hey, go, Princess. See you Sunday.